Hello and good evening. So, happy Wednesday to you. Sorry I didn't have the proper graphics up that I normally do every time I go live, but my MacBook is in the Apple hospital. We took it up late this afternoon and had to be sent away. So I've got to wait for it to come back mended. So if you saw my graphic I put up this morning, I shared a post that Stampin' Up had put up there for demonstrators and customers alike. It's in the Stampin' Up Facebook group, and on a Tuesday they share tips, techniques and things like that from the artisan design team. So these are usually some pretty good ones in there, and often ones that you haven't heard of before, so they're worth like taking a peek and making sure you get your notifications on that page. So I've done Bubblewrap before, so I thought, well, yes, but this is a little bit different because there's a twist to it that I haven't done before. Hi Marilyn, lovely to see you. So I'm just looking over to see, yes, if I've got the spatulas, but they are locked away in the cupboard, so we'll find something else to use. So I'm going to get you down onto the table. So we'll put that one up and we'll put me in the corner. So there we go. So we'll move that, that way. We'll move that way so that you can see me. So I need a form of a spatula. My spatulas are in my mixed media box that's in the cupboard. So I won't dig around in there. Morning, Anne. It seems funny saying morning. But yes, New Zealand, you are morning to us. So just a sec. Got a spatula there. And if I had a coffee stirrer, I would show you one of those, but I don't have one visible at the moment. So, yes, we do. There we go. Let's go with this. So I have an assortment of bubble wrap here. Now, I came across a few pieces of when I've inked this before. So I have done inking, and this one's a bit on the pale side. It's soft seafoam, I think, on there, but you might be able to just make that out. But these two are stronger. So this is just stamping with your ink pad. Hi, Linda. Just got in from work. Oh, bless you. So yeah, these are a couple of colours that I've used. I think this might have been Pebbled Path. It looks that sort of colour. But if you just use your bubble wrap, you can actually ink this up, and then you can put it on a piece of card and you can stamp with it. Just press neatly all over like that. It is a distressed look. So I just thought I'd show you these ones first because we're going to do a little bit differently today. And using clear embossing powder with it. Now, I've never tried that, so I thought, ooh, there's my topic for this evening. Hi, Angela. Lovely sunny face there. Yeah, the sun has been shining today, hasn't it? It's been lovely. So I thought I won't show you this one again, but if you just accept that, if you took an ink pad and stamped on the bubble side, not on the smooth side, the bubble side, you could stamp it on here, and you would stamp that onto your paper like so, press all over it, keeping it nice and still, and you will get these sort of images, okay? I say, this is very subtle. If I bring it right up to the camera, you might be able to see there's some soft seafoam on there, so it's very, very pale. Bless him. So you've had Andy saved you some bubble wrap, that's good. So I always keep my bubble wrap upstairs in my little office up there. I've got a bit of the worktop, I just dump it on there whenever I find them. Now, if you don't have many parcels with bubble wrap, oh, that's my watch, sorry, then you can think of the inside of envelopes, because some of the envelopes come padded, have actually got bubble wrap on the inside. So it's always worth a peek inside and just to see if there's anything there you can use. Okay, you know your thrifty friend here and how I like to recycle. So we're going to need a spatula. Now, Stampin' Up have some wonderful spatulas, but it is more for using, they brought them out for using with the embossing paste. Now, that's a whole different ball game. And I've got a mixed media box in the cupboard and I keep my spatulas in there. So I didn't think to get them out. But this is a plastic spatula that I had from, I think it was Body Shop, with getting creams and things out of the pots. So anything like this will do, or you could use a coffee stirrer, okay? Just remember that coffee stirrers are absorbent, so you probably want to just use one end, use the other end, and then throw it because the ink will not be able to be wiped off, okay? So just bear that in mind. If you've got a dark colour on here and then you dip it in another cut, you wipe it, might pull some of that pigment out and muddy up another colour. So that's the reason I'm telling you that. So straightforward inking is great. We've probably done that on a live before. So we're not doing that tonight. I'm going to put all of that to one side, but I am going to take one piece, which has got some nice big bubbles on there. That's lovely. So we just need a piece of it. We don't need to have the whole thing. So I'm just going to cut this roughly like a panel size for a card. So I might do that like so. So I've got something to get hold of. Don't try to cut it too mean, because if you haven't got anything to get hold of, then you don't want to have your fingers over the inky mess in here. So just press down on that middle bit. Okay, so we're going to use one of those pieces. Okay, what have I got ready around me? So we're going to use some white re-inker. So this is a white, a pigment ink. This was a whisper white. It's basic white now, but it's the same, exactly the same type of thing. This is just a really old pot. Yes, I had 2 of those. So I've been through one. This is my next newest one. Now, just in case you are interested, I have the Calex drawers, and I just wanted to let you know how I store my re-inkers. Now, this is just a really handy tip. I punch just an office hole punch in cardstock, and I always have spare pieces. Hello, Crafty Liz. Who have we got there? So I always punch a little hole out of a piece of scrap card, the same colour that's on the bottle. It then helps me to see them from the top, and all I do is just attach them on the top with a little mini glue dot. So I put the coloured card onto the glue dots on the roll, as you've seen me use before, and then just stick them on the top there. And that helps me just at a glance, I can see exactly which shade I want. Okay, so I've got those ones out, but I don't really know what I'm going to use. I've been using a lot of the purples. I've got purples on the floor, so I think I will bring some of those in. We want some kind of middle colours. We don't want to go too pale, as I've shown you. That didn't come through very well. And that's a retired one. What's that doing in there? I'm just looking for... What shall I use? I need another colour with those 2. I've got 2 of the purples there that go with the painted lavender set. Oh, how about a granny apple with those? That might look nice. Or... I seem to be missing my... I've got some missing colours in here, I think. Never mind, we'll go with those 3, I think, today. I haven't got the ink pad for that one out today. But what we're going to do is we're going to take some of the white pigment ink, and we're going to squeeze this out into 3 little puddles. Okay, so 3 different little puddles there. Just enough liquid, I mean, just that sort of size really. Then we're going to add a couple of drops, 2 or 3 drops, depending on how strong you want the colour, to each one. Okay, so I'm just going to put a couple of drops in there. Okay, it looks a lot, but it won't be. And then I will show you with both of these. So this one here is going to be really dark, isn't it? I need some more white in there. And because they're all liquids, there you go, switch that in there. We'll try and keep them fairly together nicely. That is a very strong colour, isn't it? But that will work well, that's fine. So that's on one end. So I'm just going to get some tissue here and wipe that off. Okay. And then I'll do the same on another one. I think these aren't big enough. Put another little drop on there. That's white, that's green. And we will use, this is the paler one. This is the Highland Heather. I might just try that with 1 drop to start with. So I'm going to mix this one in with the other end of my coffee stirrer. Okay, all I'm doing is just getting the excess of that just off on there for a minute. So I'll keep that in case I want those colours again. But then this one, I'm going to use the darker one. This is Gorgeous Grape. Yeah. I'm just going to put 1 drop of that in there as well. Depending on the quantity you use and how much you want to dilute that colour as to how it's going to look when you finish. But you can always dilute those and make them lighter if you so wish. So I'm just mixing that in nicely. Okay, now this one I will be able to wipe off on here. I can wash that. So I've taken the worst off I'm going to use my chamois and just wipe all that ink off. It's not a permanent ink, so it'll come off nicely, and that can be used again. So we like to reuse things. So I'm going to get those out of the way. I'm just going to run over and get my sponge daubers. Just bear with me a sec. So because we've made this go a little bit different with the white ink, we're making it a little bit wetter than just stamping on here with ink would be. Okay, so before I put the ink onto the daubers, I'm just going to cut some panels of white card. So one of those whisper white sheets and guillotine. I brought the whole drawer to the table. It's easier to lift out because I didn't know what colours I was going to be using. So how is everybody this fine Wednesday? We're middle of the week again. Hi Shaz. So has anybody else tried this before? Who's played with Bubblewrap? Because I always love to do things a bit out of the order in it, as you know. So I've got a bit of the... Oh dear, I didn't want to do that, did I? Never mind. We can wipe that. Just knock that over. Knock that off the back there. Okay, there we go. So I've got a piece of the grid paper. This is just a small piece. This is what we used to use with the Stamparatus. Okay, so I'm going to bring you nicely in a little bit, just so you can see a little bit better. There we go. So I'm going to ink this up with one of the sponge daubers. So I am using these for the first time. So I've made it lighter with the white in there, you see. So we're going to massage some of that on, and we're literally just going to paint this over. Now, if you wanted to, you could do this in stripes. I've no idea what we're going to make tonight. Just thought it might be nice to do something a wee bit different. When I saw that post, I thought that was a good topic to teach you tonight. Okay, so we're going to do this. So it is a little bit wetter. I might find that I need to use some more. I don't know. So this one will go even paler. We've got a lot of white under there. So that is Highland Heather. All right, so we do want to mix it in first before we put it on the dauber. Otherwise you can end up with purple and white areas and it won't be a mixed paint. Think of it as mixing paint at home. Okay. And depending on the levels of white that you put with it and the colour, you know, it can change the total look. So I'm going to go, I want to stick to straight lines actually. I'm going to put this one down here. So I'm just going in lines at the moment, and then I'm going to pick this one up and just massage that in with the green. Put one down the middle there. You use bubble wrap, corrugated cardboard is lovely as well. Cereal boxes I haven't done. Keep the corks, yeah, absolutely. I love my corks. I do save those. Okay, so we're just doing some stripes here. I'll put a different colour in the middle there. I'm using up, it's absorbing up quite a bit actually of this. So I'll put that one down. Take, oh, roll over. There we go. What should we put? Put the dark one down there. Just to mix it in a little bit. And the idea is if you can try and get away with not having any waste on there, it's even better. Which one was that going over? There. But what we're going to do when we've stamped this, we're actually going to get the clear embossing powder and go over that. This will be wetter than normal inks. Okay, so we do want to actually just bring that in a little bit. We will cut the piece of card down to whatever we get left with. Just try and get up. Being glass, it's not going to absorb, that's the other thing, because if you mixed it on cardboard, then it kind of like absorb in. But mixing it on the glass mat, we're going to get, hopefully going to get a nice finish here. Okay, so this is a bit of an experiment because I've not done this particular one before. The purples will be a bit cross-contaminated there, but we're kind of getting there. Bit more of the green. I just want to do an area. So as long as we've got a main area in the middle there, we can do that. So I think that just a little bit more of the darker one at the top here. Looks a lot of fun. It absolutely is. Recycling is always good fun. Okay, I've got 2 rows together in the middle there, so I might just do a couple together here. But you can paint a picture. You could start in the middle and go circles out. You just play with it, have fun. And Smudge is coming to say hello. Okay, and it's quite clean really. It's not a messy craft. That area over there might be a bit messy, but hey. So what I'm going to do here is then take this and stamp it onto a piece of paper. Now I've got those going diagonally. It won't be everything on the page, but I'm going to get that on there. And once I've got it down onto the card, I try not to slide it. So we're pushing all of that ink off the bubble wrap. And again, if you don't have, I have lots of bubble wrap, but if you don't have much bubble wrap, you could actually wash this, let it dry naturally, and then reuse it, okay? As long as you haven't burst all your bubbles. Okay, so now I'm going to peel that off. Are you ready? And look at that. We've got a lovely area in the middle there. I'm just going to place this over there out of the way. Now I'm going to come straight in with my clear embossing powder. Okay, this has got ink over the edges, so I don't want it to be on there. The white pigment ink will help this to stay wet for longer. I think that's the reason for mixing it. It dilutes the colour, so it can be a little bit lighter, but it's going to make it stay wet. Heat embossing powder like this, all the colours we do, the metals and then the black, white, etc. All the powders will stick to anything wet. So if you've got a really juicy ink pad, you can stamp something and then tip clear embossing powder over it, and you can make any colour embossing powder just by stamping it and making it clear so it goes glossy on the top. Okay, so I'm going to pop that out of the way for now, put that lid on. I've just tipped the excess back into the pot. That was the clear, wasn't it? Yes. The heat and stick, the white and the clear are all white powders. So it's kind of like a case of trying not to mix them all up. So I'm going to hold this over the glass mat. I haven't got to worry about the table because the glass mat will not warp damage or whatever. I wouldn't lay it on here and go through the surface because the hot air cannot permeate through the glass. It kind of hits it and bounces back. So I just allow it to actually go through a little bit. Now this is an experiment. I'm not sure that this is actually going to go very clear, very shiny. There are some areas that are going. Let me just grab my glasses. I need to be able to see when it goes shiny. It's easier to hold this end because there's more white on it. But there are some shiny pieces coming through now. Very random, the pieces of where it's gone shiny, but it's quite a nice effect. Now, for my first attempt with the white pigment ink, there are only some areas on here. There are some shiny pieces. I'm going to tilt it and see if you can actually see the sparkly shiny in there. There's some on that dark purple in the middle there. but there are some areas. So because I've stretched that ink out, it's actually dry. Some of it isn't very wet, so it's only stuck in the places where it's very wet. Okay, there's some little speckles over here of the powder where it's all gone, but it's hard to show you on the camera, but I think you could have seen some of these ones here, the larger areas. But it's a very nice effect. Like I say, you can make your own patterns on here. You can stamp to your heart's content, but it's definitely different to being without the white ink. So that is a nice experiment. I'm just going to put the lids on my bottles here. So we'll put all of those on so we don't knock them over. The beauty of re-inkers are that they do so much more than just re-ink the pads. Our pads here, you would literally run up and down and then spread that in with the back of a spoon or something smooth, no little scratchy marks in because it will rip the surface. But that's how you use the re-inkers. To revive this, you can revive your markers, not the alcohol markers, but the other markers. You can revive those and refill. So there's a lot, and you can do techniques with it. I thought that this is Wednesday, so I did think on Sunday. What is Sunday? Yeah, Sunday. I might do a shaving foam technique. Can I ask comments? How many of you have done a shaving foam technique? Just going to spritz this with some water just to clean that, so don't get it over my card. I've got most of it off. You done shaving foam? Because that's another lovely technique I like to do with the re-inkers. I'm getting several of my customers switched over from the big full-size pads like this and into the little tiny spots. You get some little uninked spots like so, and they are completely, they're dry. There's no ink on them whatsoever. So then pair that with a re-inker. It works out cheaper to buy 5 of those and 5 re-inkers of your favourite colours, or just pick 1 or 2 for now and keep the rest blank until you know what colours you want to collect. Okay, so you can ink up that little pad and you can use that on its own like the big ones, but just covering a smaller area. But the re-inker can do so many other techniques apart from just doing what it says and refilling your pads and your markers. Okay, so there are lots of things you can do with that. So let's take this piece here. I just want a wet wipe. Did I bring wet wipes near? I did. A mixture with the powder as well, because we've got speckles of powder on here. I'm just going to give this a good clean. Okay, there we go. That will dry quickly. The embossing powder just gets airborne. It's so fine, and it does just make a mess everywhere. Okay, so that will soon dry, that's fine. So we've got that out of the way, we've got that one out of the way, and let's choose some card colours. I didn't mention on here, did I? I mentioned about the colours on the top here. The other thing is the container that I keep these in. If you have the Kallax drawers that go in the Kallax units where you get 2 drawers high, and they're a little addition to the Kallax units. These fit in perfectly, and these are nail varnish pots. There's a slope to them, but they are all level. No, 2 different tiers, so you've got slightly different at the back. But these are really handy, and they keep them upright, and they don't all fall over. Okay, so it's a good idea. Look in your pound shops, look in your cheapy shops, and see if you can go to the nail varnish sections and see if you can find nail varnish holders, like little stands like this. They're perfect and they fit in the drawer. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got 5 in a drawer and still room for other things around it, so that's quite handy. Never done shaving foam before. Right, well, pop in on Sunday. Sunday is at 8 o'clock. We're here on 9 on a Wednesday. Shaving foam's really pretty. Linda's not tried shaving foam, never. Oh, yes it is. Okay, we'll tune in on Sunday and we'll have some clean but messy fun. Right, let me get some colours. The colours I've used on here, I need to just grab the green, I think, because, yeah, not sure what colour base card to do, so let's just grab some colours. I'm just going to grab the Granny Apple as well. I'm not using the scraps today because I have got some of the colours in the front here. There we go, put them down. So that was interesting to see, and interesting because I haven't done it with the white before, and it's just the pigment white ink. So you can use this, the craft white they call it, but that is an old bottle there, so just remember that one. And just so the labels will change slightly. So that's a card base. I tend to like the stronger colours. There's a mark on that one, so I'll use the top half of that instead. Come down there, score it in half and cut it in half. There we go, and we'll use that one. And this one, score in half. Our metric is at 10.5, and then where my two little dots are, that was getting a bit faint, but and 14.85. To cut that in half. There we go. So got that done. That done. And we'll have 3 bases here. Just work out what we fancy putting with this. There we go. I've kind of come to this a little bit green just for the technique, because I saw that and I thought I know what I'll do. So we can see what we'd like to make out of this. I think that could make a nice panel that way on as well. And then leaving a little piece here to maybe go on the envelope. We could do a bigger panel like so. Take off those white edges and have a double tier. So how about having a gorgeous grape with this granny apple and then this coming inside it. I think that would look quite nice, wouldn't it? I do like doing combinations like that. So right, let's use some plain green. A smaller piece there. There we go. So I'm going to start by cutting this one down. We'll see what size this comes out at before we put it onto the green. You're fine, Debbie, not a problem. Oh, sleep is calling. Get some rest, Jazz. You love your little ink pads. Yes, you had some, and they last so long. Absolutely, because those re-inkers, you will re-ink it more with being a small little pad than you do the bigger pads. Some of these bigger ones can last for ages and ages before you need to, but you're using a whole surface area, whereas a little one, you're going to be tap that all over. Okay, so do have fun, and they are more economical that way, definitely. So I've got some white here, so I kind of want to take that off, and I'll take the bottom off so I don't get that white ridge across there, just touching on those edges, so that's going to look pretty. There's a little bit of white that side and a little bit of white that side, so I think I might just take those off. There we go, so where we end up. Okay, it's all a bit of a mystery. So 3 inches, 3 by 4.5 is a good measurement actually. So we might do some of that. So let's go to 4.5 and take this one down to 3. The reason I say that is one of the measurements that I use on one of my One Sheet Wonder pieces. We've got some bits there we could possibly use for envelopes. So that could sit on there like so. You know I love this kind of layout. So I want this to be a little bit bigger, just a tad. I want it to come through enough though. So I'm going to go quarter of an inch over this time. So see me mixing my centimetres and my inches up quite a bit. Again, it's because that One Sheet Wonder layout I do on a 12-inch sheet. Okay, so let's see how we do that. There we go. That's going to go on there. That could go in the middle of that piece, and then that could come in the middle of there. We've got no white on there, but we can use white for a sentiment, can't we? Let me just see what I've got. I was thinking about some of the lavender embellishments, the die cuts. When I looked in here, I don't seem to have many pieces pre-cut. Oh, yes I have, on the back there, look. Let's see if we can use some of those, because they would just go nicely. The only thing is the greens aren't the same green, so we can cut some of those. These are all my scrap pieces. I tend to have a little bag, and I've got scraps of the DSP, and I've also got bits of the actual die cuts cut out in here all together. So when I need some in a hurry, I've kind of got a few ready cut. You haven't got much choice in there actually. We've got, that's one of the stems, but they're in the wrong colour greens. So we're going to have to just cut some of this. Got the baby machine here. And we'll cut some of these out from the lavender. Got that here ready. So these are the greenery we want. So I'm loving this lavender set. I know several of my customers are as well. We're using it at next weekend as well. So we've got our event coming up for Norfolk Day. I'm just going to peel that off the plate. Now we've got a lot of this squashed in the middle there, so I'm just going to take that off. Grab my brush and just run that through. I take the end off this one, I can poke that out as well. Just get it started like that. Gently pull it, work it out with the brush as well, and poke that one through. It's really nice. There we go. Of course, I wasn't here last Wednesday, was I? Well, it didn't help England, did it, with the football? But I think they played a good match. I'm not a big footy fan. I just support the biggies when it's a big and it's England and whatever. So I do tend to support there. So that's those. I'll just bring these ones on because some of you might not have seen these. These are really nice dies and stamps. Got some yellow in there, out of the way. So this is the stamp set. You can just see that one there. This is beautiful stamped out as well, with the tiny little speckles, the little flowers along there. We can do that for the liner if we've got time with. Yeah, we're good for time. And there's some lovely butterflies here. They are beautiful, and there's a die cut for those as well. So as we've got sponge daubers out, I might try and just squeeze it in. If you're here with me, I might just squeeze in doing the liner with those. So I'm just going to grab some Highland Heather. I might have to take a piece off here. Just a stamp piece. I'm going to take some of those taller ones. So I'm just going to take a little strip off here to even up that side there. Just run that down. There we go. And run those through. This one actually cuts 2 at a time. And this is kind of more of the leaves actually. So I could run that through. I cut them fairly close to each other so that I don't waste too much. Well, that one could come off as well. If you are die cutting your pieces, if you have a lot of this excess, when the plate goes on top, you will get all the scratchy lines from your dies will damage that piece of card. So wherever possible, do try and cut it roughly to size. Right, that's through, and then come back. Yeah, we've got. Looking forward to. Yeah, it's going to be a good day, Angela. Brilliant idea, Linda. And if you could do this in Christmas colours, great Christmas back. Absolutely, Linda. Yeah, we can definitely do that. Christmas will be coming up soon. So as demonstrators, I believe we see the catalogue on the Christmas catalogue on the 24th of July. Now we can order the catalogues for customers in August, at the beginning of August, and then when they come through, obviously they're here for customers to take. So it will be coming through soon because we can pre-order. Demonstrators get perks, and one of the perks is we can pre-order some of the items early. I've just pulled the top of that one off on there. So I just snip off that stem and we won't know any of the difference. So then this one, run over with my, take your pick brush, take that off there, and then just get these out of here. When they start to stick a little bit, you've seen me use wax paper in here. It is a good tool when they are literally gripping and don't want to let go. Let's try to get some of those out. Once it starts, you can see here, it's easy just to peel that down. You just have to be very careful that you don't tear them off the stem like I did earlier. Okay, there are 2 strips on here, so I'm just taking it very gently down there. We've got 2 different colours now, and then this one's the other side. I love it when they do 2 sets like this together. Then you get a celebration. Absolutely, celebration's always exciting because of the freebies. We all love freebies. I'm just being very gentle with this. It's detached where it needs to be detached, but it's just clinging in there a little bit. Okay, so just going to gently tease that out. I would now at this stage, I will get some wax paper next time I use this and just use that to help it. Use the wax side towards your die and it will help release them, and it will stay oiled if you like, or waxed. It will stay like that for a good while before you need to do it again. Okay, it just helps them to release nicely. Okay, so we will make something out of these now. Okay, so I'm going to layer these 2 pieces up together. I have my Tombow here. Okay, and I have my tweezers I was missing before. Would you believe I had both pairs of tweezers at Rocks and Barns when I was at the pop-up studio? I haven't gutted tonight, gutted the middle layer. You know I normally do. If you're not going to see this middle piece, all you need to be able to see is that piece. So do feel free to punch or cut some pieces out of there. I'm going to put this down flat because I'm going to put the greeting. I'll find a sentiment and put the sentiment on raised. Okay. It's always nice to have a new catalogue, but it's a case of having to whittle down what you can buy, what you can afford to buy, and much as we'd all like to have everything, even I can't have everything. So yeah, we have to ration ourselves, don't we? So I've got a gorgeous grape here. I've got a Highland Heather. I have some foliage, but we could put a little cluster of those together. However we want to balance those on top. Okay, like so. Make a little cluster. Could have one underneath and one on top, or some of the pieces coming through. Okay, I like to make it look like the stems have been tied in a little bunch. Do we like that, or do we want a little bit more texture in there? Tell you what we could do. We could take that doorbell. Just on this piece of glass here, I'm just going to rub that over the edge just to change the colour a little bit. Okay, so we're just going to touch on that. Because it's a lighter shade, it's exactly the same, but just a lighter shade. And then I'm going to get the heat gun on it. It's very small, so I will get my tweezers. Amazing. Get those. Get the tweezers and just heat that to dry it. Because of the white pigment in it, it stayed wet longer. Okay, so I'm just going to put this on low, maybe a little bit high, and just heat that just to dry it. It's a good way of lightening your colours. You know, with the blends, the Stampin' Blends, we can change the colours. We can layer them up. I think I mentioned that the other day. But because we can layer them up, this is actually going the other way. It's making it lighter. So a wet wipe was all that was needed to clean that glass. And there we go. We've got a different, slightly different shade in there, and it all blends in together. So I'm going to stick those down. So again with my tweezers, starting with the biggest piece. It's not really a lavender colour, but it's just flowers really. It's not necessarily got to be nature perfect. Okay, so I'm just dotting this over these little pieces here. I can see there's some comics coming through there. Not very good at rationing your collections, bless you. No, I'm not really. But it's a case of getting the ones you know you're going to get a lot of use out of. Okay, so we're covering some of the shiny pieces up, but that's not a problem. So these, I can shorten those stems, so I might take a little piece off the end of that. Okay, and let that one stay tall. So have a tall one up there. and a medium height down here, and then some more greenery through the middle. Okay, so we're just going to touch again on the back here. Oh, just try and get that coming out slightly. There we go. Just a tiny little bit, and just spread that down. We're not squeezing very hard, we're just stroking that down there. Oh, Anne, that's not good. Not a cold, you've got COVID. Oh, that's miserable, isn't it? It's still very prominent out there. It really is. And you don't know, it's sort of, we're having to live with it, aren't we? Just makes you feel very rough for a few days. Okay, so I'm going to spread those out. This one, the lighter one's going to come up through the middle there. Again, just giving it another little bit of texture. Just gently stroking a little bit of adhesive on there. Okay, and that can come through there. And do I have any twine on here? Nope. Yes. That's a new packet. I don't really want to open a brand new one because that could be, a customer might ask for that. So I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to pop those away. Just got to find a greeting, a sentiment. So I had a set here I knew was a good all-rounder. So we could have a bigger greeting on here, or we could have just a note. Thanks is good because I can just put thanks through the middle, or even just hello. I think I might use thanks. Ribbon, yes, I need some ribbon. I haven't got anything handy in that colour. I'm going to use any colours that would go with this. I was going to use a white twine, or the neutral, the natural twine. So I'll grab that out of the drawer in a sec. I have got gorgeous grape here, so we'll grab that. We'll grab some white, if there's some scraps in there at the front. Oh, lots. Look at that. These haven't made it into my scrap box yet. So it could probably fit in there. So we're just going to take that. Make sure it's all well inked up. There we go. Hold your breath while you do it. Okay. Then this one, I'm going to grab my little trimmer and the twine. Just a sec. We're going to take this down, keep it the edges straight with the line of the greeting as best we can. Okay, and see if we can do parallel the other side. Yep, we can put that over a little bit. There we go. So I'm using these little tram lines on here. I know I've talked about those before on your trimmers, and I think I'm going to do these a little bit differently. I'm going to just, with the scissors, I'm just going to snip those out. So I tend to do the little flag ends quite regularly, but this one's kind of like lending itself to a slope there. So I'm going to take a slope here, and then if I turn it over, I want to get the same slope the other end. So we've got that angle. We want to have that angle up here as well. So they're parallel. Okay, so I'm just going to take that up to the corner. I don't know if you can see that. Take that up to the corner and then do the same slope. I've just turned it over and they will be the same angle. Okay, just a little bit different. Stick that on some dimension. Don't say the dimensionals were here. There we go. Dimensionals on there. Okay, they're a little bit big, but they'll be fine. One there, and taking the back off, and one there. Like so. Take those out of the way. And then I wanted to wobble up some thread. Oops. Now these do come, the neutrals come in a pack. This is a mixed pack, Baker's Twine Essentials pack. So I've had white in there, except I've got to the last bit of the roll and I ended up having to loop it and tie it off because it fell off. So I'm just going to use a piece of this. Okay, and I told you about if you stretch it between your thumbnail and your finger, it will help straighten them. So whereas it's all bouncy when it's been on the roll, it straightens it and makes it a little bit easier to tie. Another top tip for you. Hi Jane, you've had to stay in hospital. Oh bless you. We're long overdue a catch up, aren't we? Maybe when I'm next in King's Lynn, we could have a catch up, have a coffee or something. Okay. Now because that's quite flimsy, I'm wondering, I'm going to undo that and I'm going to put 2 strands together, slip them through there and tie 2 together so I get a double bow. Yes, we are overdue, my dear. So I've done 2 strands together now. I want it a little bit thicker than that. So I've got a loop in that hand, a loop in that hand, crisscross those over. All right, through the middle, get hold of those 2. Doesn't look very good, but they are there. There we go. I left it a little bit short, didn't I? Maybe tie that one a bit tighter. There we go, we'll get there. There we go, where there's a will, there's a way. Okay, we've got a nice little double bow. It just makes it that little bit more substantial, doesn't it? Okay, tie them nice and tight. Take off those ends and those ends to make them nice and level. So we've got the greeting ready to go on. And have that just to tie up those loose ends at the bottom there. So that could come on there, like so. And then this one with a little glue dot can come in there. And you know what? I'm not going to get up again. I'm just going to put a little tiny dot of Tombow on here. All right, just a tiniest little dot there. And I'm going to press this on. Okay, because I'm just doing it on the knot in the middle. Okay, this is a little bit of a cheat's way, but I wouldn't normally put a wet glue onto a ribbon. The string is better, the twine is better because you've got a knot in the middle there. You're not gonna see through the knot. It's a bit of a tongue twister, isn't it? Anyway, we've got a nice little card there. Got some gems here as well. I'll let you into my box. These are some brand new ones. Now, I can't remember which set these go with. Opal Rounds Assortment. They are beautiful. They're like blue, yellow, and like a pearly white. Okay, I haven't got my purples in here at the moment. They're out for class projects. They retired ones, I think. I'm going to have to come back to my clears. These are my go-to. I use these so much. And then when you have the blends near and handy, you can also colour those as well. So let's just take, I think, some medium ones on here. And I think I'm just going to put them randomly to bring the sparkle out. One bigger one, medium one, and a little one, somewhere together. And one down the bottom. Just vary the sizes just for, there we go. I'll put a bigger one over there. There we go. Oh, look. They went away with my gems. They didn't need to live in there, did they? There we go. We'll pop that away. And there we are. Now, if you're okay, I'm just going to do one of these panels for the inside. Trim that down a little bit. Take a few bits off there. Take about a centimetre off that side and off that side. Very, very quick process here. I need this back. Use the other side of, no, I can use that one. There's 2 stamps in this set that I wanted to just show you. We're going to use the greenery on the bottom. Okay, a big block here. Do. Okay, so that's going to run along the bottom, and then the purple is going to have the little one on the top. These are such little tiny dots. They are beautiful. Okay, so we haven't got the right green here, I'm afraid, but we can go with garden green. That's nearest. Just for the point of showing you how this works. Okay, so I'm going to tap, tap, tap on here. This is all the grassy pieces along the bottom here. I make sure that the bottom of the grass is hanging off the bottom. So it's hanging off there. So you've got no white gaps. Tap that one, overlap it a little bit, and make sure your bottom is hanging off the bottom of the card so there's no white gaps. And then do it once more on this end piece. Okay, overlap it a little bit. There we go. And that's gone away the whole length of that card. Really, really sweet. Okay, it's absolutely gorgeous. So now with the gorgeous grape, the purple for our card, I won't stick this in because the green is wrong, but I will use this on another card. I just wanted you to see it. So we've got, which way up are we going to put these little flowers? That way up or that way up? I really don't think there's anything in it. We're just going to dot these randomly in the grasses. Okay, so you can just tap along, varying the height. You could even do first and second generation. First, second, third, look. First, second, third on the end there. And that, apart from I've done it in a hurry and got a little splodge there, aren't those flowers just absolutely gorgeous? Yeah, I love the bright green as well. I'll do it with the gorgeous, the granny apple green. So I'm not going to stick this one inside, but that would be our liner inside there for the card. Okay, you could take that down a little bit smaller as well, but I'll do it with this green off camera. Okay, but I hope you like that. Showed you a little bit of a different technique. You do need to have your daubers need to be quite wet. Bring the camera back to me here. There we go. So your daubers need to be a little bit wetter than mine were, but it's the first time I've used it with that refill. That's the white refill here, and it's a really easy technique to do. You're making it, keeping it moist a lot for longer, and you are lightening the shades as well. Okay, love the new gems. They were, weren't they? I haven't used them yet. But yeah, it is a beautiful set. The lavender set is just gorgeous. Okay, so I think that's all for tonight. Don't forget that the bonus vouchers in July, we're halfway through, aren't we? Just over halfway. Bonus vouchers, if you spend £45 this month, you get a £4.50 voucher, and it'll be a voucher code that will be emailed to you at home, to your email address. And you will need to not lose that because we've got no access to that. You will need to give it to us with your next order in August, and you can redeem the vouchers in August. So get £4.50 off your shopping. So you spend in July and save in August. Okay, so that's how it works. So don't forget that if you've got an order to place, just make sure you add on maybe some re-inkers and some uninked spots. Just make your order to £45, and then you'll get £4.50 off. Okay, so and on cue, there's Smudge right at the end. She's just saying hello, and the door's shut. Yes, she's very loud. Best get an order in. Absolutely, Linda. Just let me know. I have got an order ready to go through, but I will do another one before the end of the month, so you'll be fine. Okay, so take care, everybody. I've gone just over the hour. No, nearly coming up to the hour. That's not too bad tonight, is it? Yeah, you'll need to check your... Yeah, absolutely, Angela. I've got yours here, I believe. I've got a box there to unpack. So I think yours is in that box. Okay, hi, Smudge. Yeah, there we go. So take care, everybody. Have fun and keep crafting.